Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that I would do the end of year book tag. So I love doing this book tag every single September. I think it's just a really fun way to kind of talk about my reading plans for the end of the year, the books that I still really want to get to, new releases I'm excited about. So let's just get started. The first question is, are there any books that you've started this year that you still need to finish? So I haven't started any new books yet this year that I still need to finish, but I did start a reread of Blood Like Magic by Lizelle Sambury. Got up to page 56. I'm in the middle of a chapter, which is always super helpful, but I really need to finish rereading this so that I can jump into the sequel, Blood Like Fate, that came out this year, and I just haven't been in the mood to read this kind of book. It's set in the future, has some sci-fi elements to it, and that's just not the kind of mood that I'm in right now. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get to this one this year, but I really hope so. I don't know when I would attempt to get to it because I have a pretty packed TBR for the next couple of months, but I would really love to finish rereading this book so that I can jump into the sequel. So the next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? Usually I don't have an answer for this question because I just don't really have specific books that I read to get myself into the fall mood, but this year I'm actually filming a reading vlog where I'm like preparing for fall, and so I'm about to read Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson in that video, and I feel like this is the perfect kind of book to get me into the fall mood. It's set at a boarding school, it's a mystery novel, and so I feel like it just has all of the right vibes for fall, and I'm actually really excited to get to this one. I've heard really great things about it. Some friends have recommended it to me. I've heard there's anxiety rep in it, which is really exciting for me since I do have anxiety and love to read that in books, and I do want to get more into the mystery genre, so I feel like this is the perfect book to kind of jumpstart that, and I'm really excited, and I do think that it is going to get me kind of more in the fall mood. Clearly I'm already very in the fall autumnal mood, but this will definitely just help elevate that a little bit. The next question is there still a new release that you are waiting for? And yes, there are quite a few, but I picked out just a couple to talk about today. So the first one is The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. This is the companion novel to The Ex-Hex, which is a book that I read last Halloween. Like, I literally read it on Halloween, and that was the perfect time to read it, and I really loved that book. So when I found out there was a companion for it, it's coming out very soon, I knew that I had to talk about it because I don't think I included it on my most anticipated books because I don't think I knew that it was a thing back then, but now that I know that it's a thing, I'm literally so excited for it. The next book is The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is the prequel novel to They Both Die at the End, which is one of my favorite books. That book tore me to pieces. I absolutely adored it, and so when I found out that he was writing a prequel novel, I believe obviously about the first people to die from this whole death cast thing, I was really intrigued. I know that it's a really big book. It's like double the size if They Both Die at the End, so I don't know if I'm actually going to get to it this year, but regardless, I'm very excited about it. And the last book is another one that I did not talk about in my most anticipated releases of the year video at the beginning of the year because I did not know that it existed. Maybe it didn't exist back then, like maybe it hadn't been announced, I honestly don't know, but it's Matthew Perry's memoir. It's called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. So I love Friends, I love Matthew Perry, and I know that he's gone through a lot of hard things in his life, and so I think reading a memoir from him will just be a really interesting and enlightening read. So I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping to somehow get my hands on the audiobook for this one though, because he's going to be reading it himself, and I always find it's a more enjoyable experience to listen to a memoir rather than just read it. I obviously will just read it if I can't get the audiobook, but I think that the audiobook route is the one that I would like to take for this book. But regardless, I'm very excited about it. So those are just some of the new releases that I'm still anticipating this year. There are a lot more, but those are just the ones that I kind of wanted to highlight in this video. The next question is, what are 3 books that you want to read by the end of the year? So the first one is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I might have mentioned this in my last end of year book tag or something. I know I mentioned it in a fall TBR video last year, but it will once again be on my fall TBR this year, and I am mentioning it here. I really want to read this book by the end of the year. It is on my 2022 TBR. All 3 of the books I'm going to be talking about right now are from my 2022 TBR. I'm going to be real honest, I've only read 1 book off of that TBR. I'm severely failing in that department, but I really want to get to this one. I've been wanting to read it for years, been saying that I'm going to read it it for years, and it's about time that I finally get to it, you know? It's just such a hyped up book here on booktube and on book talk now, and I just feel like I'm failing if I'm not reading it, you know? But also, like, high fantasy just is not my genre, and that's another reason why I'm so intimidated by this book. But hopefully this fall I will finally get around to it, because it just needs to happen, okay? I need to know why everybody is so obsessed with it and talk about it all the time. I just need to get to it, and it feels like the perfect book to kind of read in the end of the year. The next one is Witchwood by Tahara Mafi. So this book was on my May TBR when I was doing a middle grade May with my friend Alyssa, and I'm not gonna lie, the whole point of middle grade May for me was to kind of push myself to read this book, and then I still didn't get to it. But this is a companion novel to Furthermore by Tahara Mafi, and that's a book that I do really enjoy. And this one, all I know about it is that our main character washes dead bodies for a living. That is all that I've ever known about it. I've never looked into it further, but that just sounds like something I'm really gonna enjoy. And just based off of like the wintry, frosty look of the cover, it feels like a really good book to read at the end of the year. So I think I'm probably gonna read this in November or December, and that just seems like a really good time to read it. So hopefully I can finally get to this one, because I think it came out in 2017. So it's about time that I finally get to it, you know? It's been too long. And the last one is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This is another one, like I said, that's on my 2022 TBR. It's a short adult romance. It seems like it's gonna be a good time. It's fake dating, you know? So like, why haven't I read it yet? I love things like this. Like, it's fake dating, but at a wedding. Like, that is literally my like sweet spot. It's my cup of tea. I've always loved things like this. So I don't know why I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm really hoping that I can get to it soon. Again, I'm thinking November, December time, once I'm kind of coming off of all my spooky time books, but I really want to get to this one. The next question is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite of the year? So I don't know if anything can dethrone Talk Flirty to Me by Livy Hart, or A Show for Two by Tashi Bhuyan, honestly, but I do have a couple of books here that I think have the potential to become a favorite. So the first one is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is, I believe, her first adult novel, and I absolutely adore her Once Upon a Con series. So I just have good feelings about this one making it onto my favorites list. And it's literally about our main character who falls in love with a ghost who used to be her book editor because she's a ghost writer, and just all the vibes of that just sound really, really good to me. Also, her dad dies and she has to go home to their funeral parlor. Like, they own a funeral parlor, I think, and that just seems like really fun, spooky vibes. So I'm planning on reading this in October, and I do think it definitely has the potential to become a favorite of the year. Will it be like the ultimate favorite of the year? I don't know. Like I said, I don't think anything is going to be able to dethrone the books that are currently at my favorite spots, but I am really excited about this one, and I do anticipate that it will be on that list somewhere. And then we have The Sizzle Paradox by Lily Menon. This is Sandhya Menon's pen name for her adult romances. Her first adult romance, Make Up Breakup, was on my favorites list for last year, so I'm kind of just assuming based off that this will also become a favorite. But the next book is How to Love Your Neighbor by Sophie Sullivan. I guess I just love romances, and I think they're a pretty safe bet to be my favorite. But this is the companion to 10 Rules for Faking It by Sophie Sullivan, which was one of my top favorite books of last year. It was in like the top 3, I think. So I feel like this one's not going to be much different, but I'm very excited about this one. Again, it seems like something I'm really, really gonna enjoy. I believe it's like enemies to lovers or hate to love or something, and it just sounds like a really good time. And the next question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2023? And no, I have not. Typically my reading goals are the same from year to year. I recently talked about this in my bookshelf reorganization Q&A video, but they're usually around the same. Read 100 books, read 5 new releases, things like that. As for my actual 2023 TBR, I have no idea what's going to be on there yet because I don't know what I'm going to read in the end of the year here. So I usually start planning for the new year in December, so check back in with me then and we'll see what my reading plans are for next year. But that is the end of this tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know what your reading plans are for the end of the year because I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!